Well, it really has been an evolution because the Olympics still in 1980 were still quote unquote small. They weren't the big thing that they are now. Like everything, it's changed. Cable television has changed that. The money that's available from ESPNs, it's a different world. It's a much bigger event, 10,000 athletes at the Summer Games. I've been to 8 summer, 8 winter. I enjoy the winter games more, and simply because it's smaller, it's more intimate. If you're lucky, it's going to be held in a small European town on a mountain. That's just great. Without sounding romantic, it is. It's just a cool atmosphere. But it is a once in a lifetime opportunity that I've been fortunate to have 16 times, and each one is different. Some are better than others. London is coming up. As of right now, I'm down to make that my 17th, and it is unique. And I would offer anybody that if you get the chance to just go to enjoy the Olympics sometime, to go do it, just to be around that party atmosphere. It's like your first boyfriend or girlfriend. They stand out. There's always a memory of that person. For some reason, good or bad, there's always some thought. And Lake Placid was very unique in many ways. It was my first. I would have been about 27, I guess. It was in a small little upstate New York town, lots of snow, great atmosphere, great feel. And you had the miracle on ice when the U.S. beat Russia in hockey, which was, as people compared it to a U.S. High school football team beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. That can't happen. But it did happen. And the U.S. won that hockey game. And I was there that night for that. And to do your job and leave and then go out in that little town, that was a great party. That was just a great atmosphere. The U.S. was involved in a lot of things at that point with the Iranian hostages, a lot of disputes about Afghanistan, even back then, with the Russians. And this was such a release for the country to beat that hockey team, which had beaten the U.S. only about 3 weeks before by a score of like 13-2. But the U.S. won that game when it counted in Lake Placid. That was a great memory. There's been a million of them. I mean, every place is unique. A couple of the Olympics weren't all that enjoyable, and I hate to say it, but U.S.-based ones. The ones over in Europe or in Asia have just really been more of the Olympic spirit, if you will. Plain and simple is like in Atlanta. Our commercialism, which fuels the world, which is great, just overtook that. And it was just too gaudy. It was like a big country fair. It wasn't as joyous of an event as some of the other ones are. And it's not just my opinion. Many people have expressed this over the years. It just wasn't all that enjoyable. Now, again, it was marked by one of the tragedies where a bomber killed a woman in the Centennial Park, and that made for a pretty hectic news night, pretty busy night of work, which, that's what you're there for. That's fine. But that Olympics doesn't stand out as on a positive side much.
Unfortunate.
That's just the way it is. I mean, not everything's going to be great. And hey, again, let's be honest. Am I complaining about going? No. I mean, this is the Olympics. I'm being paid to go there. With the Olympics, you get a credential. And I liken this to Disneyland, where you get an e-credential, e-ticket at Disneyland. They get you into every event. Well, in the Olympics, if you're of an agency, an international agency like the AP is, we get e-credentials. This gains me entrance to every event, anywhere I want to go. Literally walk in the door, walk right down to the front row and sit down. Nobody asks you anything, nobody questions. Can't beat it. Metro, get on the trains, the buses, free, no charge. It's a very nice existence. And that was all great in Atlanta too. I mean, not to say Atlanta was the worst thing that ever happened, but it just wasn't as much of a good memory for many of us as the other ones were. What I've gotten the most satisfaction out of, and many of my coworkers too, is to go to the Winter Olympics or the summer and find those offbeat sports, the ones that are not the track and field, the basketball. I mean, the basketball, LeBron James is going to show up, the whole world's going to look at him, and it's going to be just mayhem. But if you go to those more quote-unquote obscure sports like bobsled, cross-country skiing, those people there who get no notoriety the other 3.5 years of the Olympiad, love the fact you're there, love to talk, like we all do. We all want to talk about what we do. they just enjoy that notice. Consequently, you get much better interviews. You just get a much more comfortable, casual. You can talk one-on-one with people of that stature. You go to the basketball press conferences, and you're nowhere near LeBron James. I mean, I might be 15 feet or 10 feet from him, but I've got 80 people between us, all hovered over every word he utters. So you're not having a personal conversation in that kind of a situation. So those nondescript sports are always fun.